Welcome into LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax. Hi, I am Max Bretos. This is the show that gets you up close and personal to all things black and gold. 2024 marks the third season in charge for head coach Steve Cherundolo. You will be hard-pressed to find a coach off to a better start, especially in a high-pressure situation like LAFC, than Coach Steve. Won an MLS Cup, and he's made final after final after final. He is an American coach, but important to remember he spent 2 decades in Germany as a player and where he began his coaching career. But it all started down in San Diego, and we go off the pitch with Coach Steve Cherundolo. Steve Cherundolo, tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Well, I was born in Rockford, Illinois. The family moved out to San Diego a couple of years later, and so I grew up in San Diego. Moved to college then, to University of Portland for a couple of years before I found my way in Europe at the age of 19.
Nowadays there's more players are doing that. Back then it wasn't so often. How does a kid from San Diego at the University of Portland end up in the crosshairs of a German club and puts 2 decades of time in that place?
Yeah, so the German club is a little strange, and there is a story that I'll get to, but I grew up with English coaches, and their influence on me was pretty incredible and great. And I also went to the University of Portland where Clive Charles was a coach, who had also obviously come from England, but had drawn a lot of his coaching from the English game. And so growing up with that and having gone over to England and got to watch EPL matches live was quite influential and kind of set the seed for later. I said, you know what, if I have the opportunity, I'm going to take it.
When did you know that you said, I'm comfortable here, this is a place I want to grow at and become an iconic player?
Well, I don't think there is that one moment. I do believe there are a lot of individual moments that lead up to that. And as a player, you kind of think from contract to contract. And at Hanover, it was the case for me. Whenever it came up to contract negotiations, I had a couple questions I needed to answer with yes, and that was, am I still developing as a player? Is the club still developing and moving forward as a club on the field, but also off the field financially? And then lastly, am I still happy as a human being there and growing as a person? And thankfully, I said yes to all those questions every single time the contractual extension came around. And that's how it became 15 years.
And you were able to start your coaching career a little bit there, but how did that set your platform or philosophy on how you view the game, just that time that you were able to spend there?
Incredibly. I think we're all product of our environment and our environments, and I had some fantastic coaches. I had a couple rotten coaches, where I also learned some lessons and tools from how not to do things and things to kind of steer away from. But predominantly the coaches I had were fantastic, and I still draw back from each one of them, and I wrote a journal as a player, or kept a journal I should say, and looking back at those entries now is pretty fascinating.
You still have the journal?
I still do, yeah, I still do.
You pull that out and just think?
Every once in a while, yeah. I did recently pull an entry out and talked about it at one of the coaching conferences here in LA. And it's pretty cool to read, and I would recommend every player to do it.
You were selected for 3 World Cups. Yeah, you played in 2. What did it mean for you to represent your country and just being able to play at the showpiece event?
Yeah, it truly is the greatest show on earth. It's hard to describe what it's like. It's an impeccably run tournament. What it means, the experience for the players is phenomenal, and also to have your families there. I remember, I believe it was in Nuremberg, how we played Ghana, and I see my family like in the 6th or 7th row, warming up, super emotional. I don't know what to be excited, to focus, or to go hug them and shed a tear. So it really is a lot going on emotionally, and it's truly spectacular and a treat for every player who gets to enjoy that. So, and it's worth every minute of sacrifice to get there.
Favorite moment from your international career?
Yeah, I think the game against Italy in Kaiserslautern, we tied 1-1. It had it all. Had a couple red cards. some amazing plays, emotions, a lot of American fans. I got to trade jerseys with one of my idols, so it had it all.
Who did you trade jerseys with?
Del Piero.
Oh, wow. Very nice. When did you know you wanted to be a coach?
I don't think there was, again, one moment, but I've always been fascinated with coaches and how they approach leading a group and how they get the most out of the group or do not get the most out of a group. I think if I wasn't a coach in sports, it would have been some sort of leadership role, maybe a teacher in elementary school or a PE teacher maybe, who knows.
You're still new at coaching, but you've had success at coaching, and I imagine you say, okay, this works. I will stand by this. But do you still catch yourself incorporating new ideas? You find something, you say, okay, this is something I may want to bring into what I want to implement.
Always. Always learning, always trying to improve, whether it's more technical work on the training pitch, new ideas, new drills. Constantly working with the other assistants, with Enrique, Mark, Oka, and Ante. What can we change? How can we get more out of the players? So it's a constant juggle of trying to include and gain more knowledge, include the new knowledge, and instill it upon your players, but hold on to the constants that make us good. And navigating that throughout an entire season with injuries, new players, all of that is fascinating. It's nonstop, and it's a roller coaster. Eventually, when you get fired as a coach, you get a little break to reflect. But until then, foot's on the pedal and we're going.
Coming up on LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax, we go inside Aaron Long's journey to the black and gold. LAFC Weekly is presented by CarMax, official used car retailer of LAFC, by BMO, official bank of LAFC, and by Pacific Office Automation. We have your office game plan. Welcome back to LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax. When you look at the roster of LAFC, you have some players who have done some incredible things, World Cup winners, Euro winners, players who have played in the top leagues in the world. Aaron Long took a different path, a very difficult one, where he easily could have been discouraged and stopped playing soccer altogether. But he pushed on. He's a great example for all young players out there. So much so that he was one-time MLS Defender of the Year. He made the USA World Cup roster in 2022. He is one of the best defenders in Major League Soccer. Aaron Long, a true success story. He is this week's player profile, presented by Rockstar Energy Drink.
Hello, my name is Aaron Long, defender for LAFC. And I'm from Oak Hills, California. I began my professional career in 2014. I was coming out of college. I actually went to college nearby at UC Riverside, and I was drafted in 2014 after my senior season. College was good for me, UCR being in a market that I could go and make an impact early on. So freshman year I did well, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I was super excited and had big expectations. I had a really good year, the whole team had a pretty good year, and the main goal was to get into the MLS Super Draft. And at that time, no player in our history had gotten to the MLS Super Draft. And then I did not get invited. I had to go to all these MLS like side camps for teams to see me. So I was driving out, I think I went to one in Las Vegas. I flew to another one in Florida where there was gonna be MLS scouts there so they could see me because I wasn't gonna be at the Super Draft, to be able to give myself a chance to get drafted. Luckily I was drafted in the second round. Portland Timbers drafted me, and I was there for 6 months until they had to make some roster moves and make some tweaks to things because the season wasn't going too well. I hadn't played any minutes there yet, so then once I was dropped, almost immediately Seattle Sounders signed me because they wanted to take me in the draft, but Portland took me first. I was at Seattle for 1.5 years until I went to New York Red Bulls, and then I originally signed for New York Red Bulls 2, played half the season there. My goal was just to make the first team and to get my MLS debut. That's all I was worried about. At the end of the day, that's every player's goal. If you're playing in USL, that's your goal. We ended up winning the USL Championship that year. I got USL Defender of the Year, and then the next year I moved into the first team as a starter. Since I moved here, life's been great. It's been amazing. I arrived here as a free agent. It was a pretty easy decision for me, knowing that my family was here and I could come home and have a special moment to play in my hometown for my home team, playing in front of these fans with my family in the crowd. And there's players all around the world that would do anything to go home and play for their hometown team and spend the time that I get to spend with my family. Outside of soccer, I don't have too many hobbies now that I'm a father. I come home from training and it's daddy daycare right away. Try to play with my kids a little bit, and then we do dinner time, and then we do bedtime routine, and that's kind of it. Before I had kids, I had a whole bunch of hobbies. I would hang out with my friends. I'd cook a lot. I played a lot of Fortnite, actually. Now that's all gone by the wayside. Match day rituals are pretty much the same. Wake up, have a high-carb breakfast, have my coffee, try to chill out for most of the day. I try to take a nap, and then when I wake up from my nap, I have chicken and pasta, and then I go to the game. Try to keep it really simple, something that's easy to replicate so that I can have my routine no matter what city I'm in. I had a favorite player, definitely growing up. Someone that I looked up to a lot was Carlos Bocanegra. He was a hometown kid. He's from this area. He would come back, and he was captaining the national team at the time, and would come back and would run Christmas camps, and I would go to. I'm like 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up till I was like 14 years old. So I saw a lot of him in the off season. For him to be that close and know a guy personally, and he's captaining the national team and going to World Cups, it was crazy. It was cool. My goal was not to be on the national team or to represent the United States or to go to a World Cup, but for me it was more of a dream than a goal. The World Cup being in Qatar made it that much more memorable for us. It was such a unique location, and for us to have a home base in Qatar and the entire World Cup being almost in one city instead of in an entire nation, it was crazy. But the travel there was amazing. The way that the people, the Qatari people, accepted us, and the hotel that we were at, like the whole experience was unbelievable. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Coming up on LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax, we relive Giorgio Chiellini's most iconic moments with LAFC. Welcome back to LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax. Many moments over my career that I will cherish. The 2023 MLS Cup in Columbus, after LAFC lost, we were underground and I saw Giorgio Chiellini seated there. Didn't know what he was saying, but I knew this was probably the end of his storied career. He looked over and gave me a wink. This is a guy who has won trophy after trophy, won a European championship with Italy, one of the most famous and recognizable players on the planet. And the most incredible part about Giorgio Chiellini, despite all of that, you will not find a more grounded, more agreeable human being than Giorgio. We love him here in LA. He is always welcome, and he is this week's Call Jacob Iconic Player.
We are here today to welcome a player that has had unprecedented success. And we know exactly what Giorgio will bring to LAFC because it will be what he has always brought to every single team he played on. Which is to do absolutely everything he can to lead his team to victory.
Balls for Hollington, pucked in for Giorgio Chiellini!
And to championships.
It's not just about my experience here in US. The last year I started to enjoy every day like being the last day.
Yeah!
that this guy loves the game, knows the game, interacts with every one of his teammates. When you have him as like a foundation in your back line, it makes himself better and the team better.
I arrived last year with a lot of dreams and hope. I never could dream what I'm living these 18 months.
Coming up on LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax, Gareth Bale takes us back to Cardiff to reflect on his childhood and impact on Wales. LAFC Weekly is presented by CarMax, official used car retailer of LAFC, by BMO, official bank of LAFC, and by Auto Collision Group, official auto collision center of LAFC. Welcome back to LAFC Weekly, presented by CarMax. Earlier in the program, I told you that Giorgio Chiellini was one of the greatest, most recognizable soccer players from Italy. Gareth Bale is the most recognizable, greatest soccer player from Wales. You could argue he is the greatest athlete from that country. A small place, and the Welsh public probably could not believe all the incredible memories he was able to create for them at Real Madrid, and even for us here at LAFC. Bale, his roots are very important to him, and we tagged along as he returned to Wales. It is this week's Classic Club Moment, presented by Remitly.
I was born in Cardiff, a normal kind of childhood. My parents still live in the same house that we grew up in. A place very special. It really feels like a family city. Everybody really tries to push in the right direction, to do the right thing, and yeah, we're all trying to help Cardiff and Wales grow on the world stage, and yeah, it's a good place to be. Well, I haven't been here for a while either. How are you? You okay? That's good, that's good.
Incredible.
No, that's good.
Absolutely incredible.
No, it's good. Hey. That was an old one.
Who's changed
It's definitely me. It's gone so quick, the time, literally. We were saying the other day in Wales that I've been playing for Wales half of my life now.
I said earlier that the memories you give it, it's not incredible, it's beyond that.
Yeah, no, it's...
But
yeah.
And for these lot, they just know success.
Yeah.
You know,
they think we're going to get to a World Cup all the time now.
They're spoiled,
You're going to live up to this, now everybody else coming after you. Well,
no pressure,
no pressure, you lot.
My name is Gwyn Morris. I'm head of physical education at Whitchurch High School in Cardiff. What Gareth had with the football was that vision, and I keep saying that good players make other players look good. I know he liked to dribble with the ball, and I know he liked to, and sometimes you say you're two-touch only to pass the ball, but it was just the quality of the passing, the timing of the passing, and the decision making, and of course it's just been fantastic to see his career develop and flourish as it has.
Hi, you okay? I know.
Well, the memories he's given us as Welsh nation is just absolutely incredible, and I can't thank him enough for that. You know, I've had moments with my kids and my family that is priceless.
I feel what makes our country so special is the pride, the passion is very unique in this country. I think we're obviously a very small country. People kind of, in a way, write us off in terms of sport and other things, but we always come fighting back. We wear our national flag with pride, with passion, and we really do turn up, and we turn up on the big occasions.
I am afraid that is all the time we have for this week, but a reminder, go to LAFC.com and come out and see us at BMO Stadium. Go see an LAFC game in person. Or if you're in Orange County, check out LAFC 2 down there at Titan Stadium in Fullerton. I am Max Bretos, and until we meet again, let's go Black and Gold.